So you want to go full time in your coaching business. You've been doing all the things. You've been posting on social media. You've been showing up. You've been sending the emails. You've been selling, but you can't seem to get to the destination that you truly desire, which is full-time entrepreneurship, right? You want consistent 10K months in your business so you could actually transition into coaching full time. And no matter how hard you are pressing the gas, it's like you can't seem to get there. And I want to just tell you today, in today's episode of the Daily Dose, that the reason why you're unable to achieve that goal and to get to that destination in your business is because you're driving in the wrong gear. Okay, you're driving in the wrong gear. And I'm going to be breaking down in today's episode how I drive sales in my coaching business without burning out, right? And so I want you to think about the analogy where you're in a car. Just think of your business as a car, but think of your nervous system as the gear shifter in your business, right? So think of yourself as a car. The gearbox, the gear shifter is your nervous system that's really calling the shots. And I go over this often with my coaches in my program. However, it's so important for you to really understand that your nervous system is your autonomic nervous system is controlled by your subconscious belief systems, right? So I often say this as a nurse, like when I was when I would be caring for my patients, whenever I would go in to start an IV or to do a procedure that was the patient wasn't truly familiar with, right? Or even I'll just use the example of really like placing an IV, right? I would have to do that constantly in the emergency department, place a line. And so when I'm placing an IV, if I'm coming in with the needle, right, or like the patient, their blood pressure would spike, their heart rate would spike, their respirations would elevate. And so it's like your nervous system, there's an automatic nervous response when it's not perceiving safety, right? When it feels unsafe. And so in my coaching business, by the grace of God, I'm able to take a lot of my nursing skills, a lot of my knowledge from my previous career and bring it into my coaching career, where I'm helping my clients to not only grow their businesses, but do so in a safe state, do so while regulating their nervous system and healing belief systems that are not doing them justice. Okay. And so the Daily Dose is actually an acronym for divine overflow of spirit-led empowerment. And so in today's episode, I really felt the pull to share like how I'm able to really truly regulate my nervous system as I grow my business so that I can drive sales in my business. And I really want to share that with you today, right? One of the things that I do with my clients is Holy Spirit-led nervous system regulation. And we do this, I teach a safe protocol method where it's like when you're getting ready to show up, but your nervous system is unregulated, right? It's dysregulated and you're like, we're going to break it down in this live. However, I want you to just consider it like we're going to be going through the 4 phases of the automatic nervous system responses that your body will present with, and examples of how you will present, right? So we'll actually start, just think of a gear shifter, right? First is park, then reverse, then neutral, then drive, right? And so we're going to be going down that gear shifter analogy in this live. So the first phase or the first mode that you might be in with an unregulated nervous system, it is park. Okay, so think of the park gear shifter. And so when you're in park mode, this is freeze mode. Okay, this is freeze mode. There's 4 responses. So it's freeze, it's fight, it's flight, and it's fawn. And so this first analogy, this first point that I want to make with you is you're in park, right? So maybe you have recently launched. So you're an action taker. You're doing the things, right? But say, for instance, you recently launched and your launch flopped, right? You didn't really get the sales that you thought you would have gotten. You didn't get the outcome that you really wanted to get. Or maybe you thought you were going to sign a client and then the client backed out last minute. So now in this state, you're like, okay, I don't know what to do, right? And so now you're like in freeze mode. You're like, I don't know what to do. So now you're doing nothing. This is you in that park gear. Okay. You're in park and you're like, okay, I don't know what to do anymore. Like I almost had that client. She backed out and now I'm just frozen. I don't know. Right. And sometimes it gets like that in your business. I'm going to tell you what to do. Okay. So the next gear that you might be in your business right now is reverse, which is flight mode. So you've had maybe a failed launch, maybe that person backed out. So now it's like you not only are you in park, now it's like you're even receding backwards. You're shifting the gear to now reverse. So now it's like you're afraid to show up now on the front end. So now you're reversed in the back end stuff, right? So you're doing all the back end stuff. You're tweaking your resume. You're, just in Canva, playing around with Canva. You're changing the fonts around. Did I say tweaking your resume? I meant tweaking your website. You're playing around with fonts on your website. You're tweaking your emails, like all the back end stuff. You're playing around with that stuff because that's the safe stuff. Right? Your nervous system, your body does not want to feel that rejection, right? This is how you process it. You process it as rejection. So now your body is trying to keep you safe. And so now you're in flight mode. You're reversed. You're like, you're playing around, you're reorganizing your Google Drive and all the things in the back end, reversing to the back end. And so now your audience hasn't heard from you in days, right? You're not showing up on the front end. You're not putting yourself out there. You're not marketing yourself. And that's because of that underlying fear and discomfort of the fear of like rejection or, the fear of failure or the fear of disappointment. Your body doesn't want to feel that. So now, even subconsciously, you're not even aware that you're doing it, but you're not showing up on the front end. You're not marketing. And so now no sales are really rolling in because you're in this flight mode. Okay. You're in reverse. And so now the next gear that you might be operating in is neutral. You're in the neutral gear, right? You're literally in fawn mode, right? So you're still moving, but you want everything to be perfect, right? You're in fawn. You're like, I want it to be perfect. You're almost like people pleasing. Like you want to make sure that you're happy, everyone's happy with what you're putting out. And yes, it's important to operate in excellence, but there's a fine line between excellence and really perfectionism, right? You're not perfect. No one's perfect. And so for you to think, oh yeah, I'm not going to put anything out there. I'm not going to, I'm redoing this website and I'm going to continue to redo it until I get it just right? Just right, whatever that is for you. And so you don't launch, you don't put anything else out there because now you're just in neutral. You're just in neutral, right? So you're saying like, you're like with your website, you're like, I just want to tweak one more thing. Every day it's like one more thing that you're tweaking and you're constantly tweaking. And you're just in stagnation at this point. You're in neutral. You're going nowhere. Like you're slowly like moving a little bit, but very, very, very slowly because your perfectionism is being disguised as productivity, right? You think you're being productive, but really you're not. Your nervous system is trying to keep you safe in the neutral mode, right? And so overdrive is the next gear that you can be operating in, where this is the fight mode, right? So fight mode in your nervous system is where you're going, right? You're flooring it, the pedals to the metal, you are flooring it, but you're not like taking a break. You're not resting. And you're telling yourself, oh yeah, I'll rest when I meet my goal, right? My next income goal is when I'll rest. But you're literally leading yourself to burnout, right? You're answering the DMs, you're posting consistently, you're in overdrive because you're like, you know what? I messed up that last launch, or that last launch flopped. So now you're like doing the most and being super extra. You're booking out every day. You're on calls. You're creating content. You're answering DMs. You're doing all the things, but you haven't excelled. You haven't exhaled for weeks, and your body is screaming for rest. It's screaming for a break. And so if you don't take the time to stop, to pause for gas, your body is going to break for you because you are burning your body into overdrive. All right. This is fight mode. So you're no longer in flight. You're no longer in freeze. You're no longer in fawn. Now you're in fight mode. You're like hustling and grinding and striving to meet your income goal. And this is going to burn you out. Your body will break if you don't take the time to rest. Okay, break. B-R-A-K-E. That break. Okay, you got to break. All right. So where you want to be, you don't want to be in overdrive. Okay, you don't want to be in park. You don't want to be in reverse. You don't want to be in neutral. You don't want to be in overdrive. Where you want to be is drive, right? You want to be driving the speed limit. You don't want to be speeding. You don't want to be, you want to be driving in a regulated nervous system. This is regulated nervous system. This is where you are in rhythm, right? You're showing up. You're posting from a place of clarity. You're speaking. You're raising your voice with conviction. You are building. You have a level of certainty. You're not overthinking every single post. You're not stalling. You're not playing around in the back end. You're doing all the things. You're showing up. You're marketing. You're speaking to your audience authentically. You're speaking to them from a place of confidence, right? And so your sales become inevitable. This is how you drive sales. All right. This is how you drive sales with a regulated nervous system. You do not want to operate from a place of hustle and grind. You want to operate from a place of clarity, a clear mind, a safe body. Your body needs to feel safe. I often say this to my clients, but your business will only grow to the level of your belief system and your body's safety. So if your body does not feel safe, it will not grow. It will subconsciously block you. Your automatic nervous system will operate in one of these modes and will prohibit you from growing and scaling your business further. All right. And so it's really important that you operate your business from a regulated nervous system. Right? This looks like you're no longer second guessing your voice. You're no longer questioning and overthinking every single piece of content, because now you have a level of conviction. You have a level of certainty and confidence when you're showing up to market your business, because you're doing it from a safe place. You're doing it from a grounded place. You're doing it from just from a regulated nervous system. Right. And so this is the work that I help my clients to do inside of my Business by Belief Accelerator. Right. So you can go ahead and comment belief, and I'll send you the application to apply for the Business by Belief Accelerator. Not only do we operate your business and grow your business from a place of belief, I also give you the blueprint, and I help you to really operate your business and drive sales with a regulated nervous system. As a nurse, as I said it before, I know how the body has been designed, right? I've taken anatomy and physiology, in nursing, and learned the body inside out. And so I know how the body works. I know how God has truly designed our bodies to function and to operate. And oftentimes, like I said, it's your subconscious belief systems that are in control. 95% of your actions are from your subconscious beliefs. And this is what's actually controlling the automatic nervous system. So when you're breathing, you don't have to consciously think about breathing. That is controlled by your automatic nervous system. You don't have to think about it. You're not consciously aware. You can rest knowing that you're going to breathe, right? You don't have to think about your heart beating, right? And so these are the things, these are the natural things that your body is going to do to keep you safe. It's literally, God has designed our bodies to keep us safe from danger. All right. And so I help my clients to not only grow their business, but also heal their nervous system, heal their broken belief systems that are sabotaging their business without them even realizing it. And so this is how I drive sales in my coaching business without burning out. I operate from a place of safety. I operate and grow my business with a regulated nervous system. And I help my clients to really get to the roots of their broken belief systems that are hindering their growth. And I help them to also, not only with belief work but and nervous system work, but the first thing we do is we craft your signature offer. I teach my clients how to create stories, right, that sell, because stories is what really sells in your business, right? It's your personal story, your origin story. It's stories throughout, like how to pull from stories in your life to connect with your audience, right? So that they can see themselves in your story and drive sales, because that is what stories and connecting with your clients emotionally is what bypasses the conscious mind and really speaks to the subconscious, driving sales in your business, right? So it builds connection and conversion marketing. And then lastly, I teach my clients the blueprint on how to strategically scale their business with a simplified sales funnel. Simplified sales funnel, because simplicity scales and complex fails. So if you find that your business isn't drawing in the sales that you want, it can be because it's chaotic, right? Chaos. Money does not follow chaos, it follows order. Okay, for you to have overflow in your business, it requires order first. That is literally in Genesis how the Lord even created the universe. He did it in order. And so I teach from biblical principles and help you to really build out your kingdom business, your kingdom coaching business. All right. And so common belief, or you can just check the description below this video and sign up and actually apply to the Business by Belief Accelerator. All right. And so that's what I have for you in today's daily dose. I pray that it's been a blessing to you. Again, you do not want to operate in park. That's freeze mode. You don't want to operate in reverse. That's flight mode. You don't want to operate in neutral. That is fawn mode. And you don't want to operate in overdrive. You want to scale your business and drive sales with a regulated nervous system. And I teach you how to do that inside of Business by Belief Accelerator. All right. And so that is the episode that I have for you inside of today's daily dose. All right. I pray that this has been a blessing to you. I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here, but I'm going to tell you, just as God told me, put one foot in front of the other, step out on faith, and trust God for the next step. I'll see you in the next live. Bye.